April the 15th, 2013, the Thought Buffet opens its door for business. Now, this is the delicatessen for your mind, the restaurant for your soul, where we're going to be discussing everything from political events to religious to things that happen on the internet to just business itself. Truly a smorgasbord, a full menu of ideas that go on in this country each and every single day. Some of which people love to talk about, most of which people are perhaps afraid to talk about. Today we encountered a tragedy that has kind of followed a trend that has really developed lately. Ever since last summer, where the Dark Knight Rises premiere over in Colorado was interrupted by gunfire and many dead. Ever since Sandy Hook, where a madman went into a school and shot kids and adults alike, we now have what could be called the Boston Marathon Massacre. In the Boston Marathon Massacre, we had a pair of bombs that went off that killed a few people and injured dozens more. And this is something that is a huge event, considering this was a run for charity that was rudely interrupted at the end by violence. Something that definitely needs a lot of awareness. I would like, right now, at this moment on the Thought Buffet, we are literally getting off on a very explosive foot, pardon the pun. I would like to take a moment and truthfully have a moment of silence for those who have died and those who have been injured in this tragedy. Thank you. I feel as though I need to do that because what I'm about to talk about right now might not be exactly what you want to hear. And I would like to at least get out of the way the fact that I am respectful towards these victims. I am respectful toward their families. I am respectful towards everybody involved who was affected. But some people need to quit with the hoaxes. Quit with the conspiracies, quit with the plots, quit making this about how a president such as Obama, legislators, Democrats, Republicans, whatever it may be, have set up these events as some sort of marketing ploy toward their legislative needs. How many times have you been on Facebook, America? How many times have you been on Twitter? How many times have you visited websites that have said things like this? Sandy Hook is a hoax. You know, the Boulder, Colorado Dark Knight Rises shooting was a hoax. Osama bin Laden's death was a hoax. He had been dead for years, or he's still not dead. And I know each and every one of you have seen either a film or have visited an online site that has declared 9/11 a hoax. What is there really to believe? And why is it that we need these elaborate hoaxes? Is it really a quest for the truth? Is everything that we do in this life kind of like the X-Files or a murder mystery where we have to find out who's truly involved because those that have been told have been involved, well, they're just scapegoats? Well, I think it has been safely assumed through the 9/11 files and the 9/11 everything that, well, we don't necessarily have all the facts with that one right there. However, with these recent events, not everything can be set up by the government in order to try to promote and push legislation. Sandy Hook was not done in order to push gun reform, in order to push the idea of needing background checks prior to the purchasing of a firearm. These are ideas that should have been implemented or should have been discussed with open arms if they were truly necessary. Now, am I saying that you don't really need a background check in order to purchase a gun? I really am not too sure about that. I think a psychological profile would be nice. I think a psychological profile would be an excellent course of action. A background check is not necessarily the be-all, end-all solution, principally because, let's face it, most criminals are not going to be going to purchase a gun legally if they have the option. Most criminals, I did not say all, I do not involve that in a blanket term. Most of them are going to find a way anyhow. In fact, most anybody is going to find a way anyhow, considering there are so many ways and means in which to obtain a firearm. Just like there are many ways and means to obtain drugs. There are many ways and means to procure various objects. However, my question is, why were those events triggered to a potential piece of legislation? And the funny thing is that even though I am saying stop this hoax, it's almost as though everybody handshake their way along. Principally because, what did we see directly after Sandy Hook? And that was the profound push towards background checks and stricter gun reform. It was almost as though this was something that was hoaxed its way onto the table. You know, something that was talked to death to the point where it needed and required and received attention from the highest courts and the highest elements of our land. The President, the House of Representatives, the Senate. It's almost as though it's just another clever tool being used to erase our minds of something else. So I understand why one would think that these items, these things, are all hoaxes. But are they truly? Are they hoaxes because they truly are? Or is it purely a product of sensationalism? What is the sensationalism that's going to be caused because of the Boston Marathon Massacre? I really don't want to know, because I'm encouraging you, America, not to spread it and not to cause it. But considering this is the thought buffet, and considering we serve up the really tough questions, is this going to reinvigorate interest and fear towards terrorism? Is this going to be something that's going to cause you to wake up tomorrow morning a little bit more fearful about what is going to happen to you throughout the day, or if indeed you are going to make it through the day? Remember what they said after 9/11. If you live your life in fear, then they have won. They have achieved their principal goal. If you breed this event into a media frenzy of sensationalism towards fear, towards terrorism, or if you use it to attempt to push your own political reform, you are no better than those who support the hoax theories. You're no better than somebody who claimed that 9/11 was nothing more than a governmental reason to get into Iraq and eradicate Saddam Hussein through blaming Osama bin Laden. You are no better than those that you claim to hate. Do not turn this into such an event. Show some respect. All that you need to say, all that you need to do, is offer your respect to the deceased, offer your prayers, your hopes to those who are injured, and offer any help or offer any support once the people who are responsible for this are caught or are pinpointed. This has been the Thought Buffet. Within these walls, we each devour a sandwich of the soul, a soup of the mind, bread that enriches the conversation, the spirit, and the zeal of the world around us. And I am your chef. Thank you.